This is the process of the sterilization room. Sterilization is a process intended to kill all microorganisms and is the highest level of microbial kill that can be achieved. At the beginning and end of each day, the water levels should be checked in your autoclave and your statum. Water levels should be in the green for your autoclave, and the statum water bottle should be filled. You can fill it right here through this top cap. To check the water levels for the statum, you can go underneath the cabinet to see where the bottle is located. Each should be filled with distilled water. In each sterilization room, there should be a storage area where distilled water is held, as shown here. Another early morning task before patients are seen is to fill your ultrasonic with water and add a tablet. The tablets create an enzyme bath. The tablets can be found nearby in a drawer or a cabinet. With the addition of the tablets, it helps the ultrasonic dissipate the debris on loose instruments. When you enter your sterilization room, you should be in full PPE. Full PPE is considered gown, gloves, mask, and face shield. Continue to store your box in the red zone, which is considered the dirty side of the sterilization room. Proceed to remove your dirty patient gloves, wash your hands, and re-glove. The sterilization room is designed to be a hands-free environment to decrease and cross-contamination. That meaning that the room is air-powered and has foot pedals to turn on the sink as well as operate the cabinets. Once you have washed and re-gloved, grab your utility gloves and make sure that they're the correct size for you for efficiency. The gloves are located above the trash can. Now that you have your utility gloves on, you're ready to process your instruments. Using utility gloves decreases your chance of a sharps incident. After retrieving your box from the red zone storage, you can put it on the counter. Put your loose instruments in the ultrasonic. The ultrasonic cleaner uses sound waves to rapidly vibrate the enzyme bath up to 37,000 cycles per minute. This creates millions upon millions of tiny bubbles that strike the surface of loose instruments with high force, removing unwanted blood, saliva, and poop particles from our instruments. Next, you would insert your cassette into the hydrum, loading from back to front like you would your dishwasher. We run our hydrum for a 27-minute cycle, and the temperature reaches between 130 and 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Last but not least, take your handpieces over to be oiled so that they can be kept for longevity. This view shows that you add your motor, make sure it's screwed on tight, and then you can add your attachment. When running slow handpieces, make sure that you run both attachments with the motor. The straight and contra-angle attachments stay with the motor because they're a family. Shut the door and press the buttons associated with whatever handpieces you have screwed in, and press start. Now, while you wait for your instruments to process, grab a cavi wipe and wipe down your carry box inside and outside as well as the lid. Now you can wipe down any surfaces that your box has touched. Wiping down everything cuts down on contamination in your sterilization room. Once you've completed your wipe down of the box, you can put it over in the blue zone, which is considered the clean side of the sterilization room. Continue to put it above the autoclave. Now with clean gloves, you can go inside your drawer and grab the correct packaging for your loose instruments, handpieces, and cassettes, as well as a Sharpie to write on the packaging. You can either correctly wrap your instruments or pouch them. When using pouches, grab your Sharpie and label each bag. On each bag needs to be your initials, where you're putting your instruments, the autoclave or the statum, the date, and the load number. Once completed, return your Sharpie to the drawer. Now that the oiler is complete, open the door and unscrew your handpiece. Unscrew from the top and gently pull down to remove. Grab a cavi wipe and wipe down the excess oil on the handpiece as well as the machine. Once your ultrasonic is finished with its cycle, you can go in and retrieve the loose instruments. From there, you should put them in the sink to rinse. After a rinse, go ahead and open the dryer and put the loose instruments inside. Go ahead and allow the instruments to dry for the allotted time. The dryer typically takes between 2 and 5 minutes. Then reach under the cabinet and start the dryer. After the time is complete and your instruments are dry, receive the loose instruments out of the dryer and place on the counter for packaging. After the hydrum has completed its cycle, go ahead and grab your cassette for packaging. When packaging your instruments, each instrument should be set in its correct size pouch. Correct size pouching for instruments is important for the sterilization process to work. If you're struggling to fit any instrument in the pouch, that means it's probably the incorrect size. As seen here with the wrong and correct size pouch for this cassette. It is important to remember to use the correct size pouches when packaging your instruments because circulation of heat is key to success when sterilizing. It also allows the steam to access all of the package when ran in the autoclave and the statum. When packaging loose instruments, they can go together in one pouch. When packaging handpieces, make sure to unattach them and then put them together in the same pouch because they are a family, so they should stay together. When each instrument or instruments are in their pouch, make sure there's at least 1 finger length on both sides of the pouch. Once your instruments are in their pouches, you can remove your utility gloves to seal each pouch. Make sure you remove the adhesive strip and fold on the perforated line. This ensures that it's a seal-tight package. That is the correct way to seal your pouches. This way, no steam can escape the pouches while it's ran in the autoclave or statum. Just like you wouldn't want to have a hole in your boat, you don't want to have holes or gaps in your packaging. Now with your autoclave labeled packages, go ahead and load the autoclave. Everything needs to be paper side up. When closing the door to the autoclave, make sure you lift the handle and push in. Make sure the top and the door is flush. You can now then press pouches or packets, whatever you loaded, and press start. When you're ready to load your statum, grab your pouches labeled for the statum. Open it up. It has a rack inside, and make sure that your packages are not touching. When closing it up before loading, make sure that it is correctly closed, that way it's sealed tight. Go ahead and return it to the statum. Go to the screen and hit the correct buttons to start your load. If the autoclave and statum are unavailable, this is the holding station for your packaging. If you ever have any questions or concerns about the instructions for the autoclave or the statum, they are located here in the cabinet above, as well as the biological monitoring indicator. To do biological monitoring, you need to take 2 vials. One vial is for control and the other vial is for the testing. You can pouch the vial because it is easier to write the date and load number on that than the vial itself. Biological monitoring testing is recommended to be run in at least 1 load once per day in your office. The color of the vial begins as a blue-purple color and should stay a blue-purple color after testing. If it is a brown color, then it is no good. It means the test has failed. If your testing has failed, you need to pull all the packages from the previous loads before the one that has failed. Once your vial has come out, you bring it over to the incubator and have it crushed. Then you place it in which load that you just ran it in. Let it sit for 24 to 48 hours and then come back to see the test results. After the test results, go ahead and grab your book to document the test. If you have any further questions, you can check this manual. It is important to record your results, that way you can keep track of your testing. Once your instruments have completed the cycle in the autoclave, you can go ahead and retrieve them out. Once out, they should be sterile, but it's important that you should check the indicator on the bag in the top right corner. If your pouches indicate that they are sterile, you can go ahead and proceed to put them in the storage blue zone. This is where the clean instruments are held. After your instruments have ran through their cycle in the statum, you can retrieve those as well. Make sure to also check the indicator in the packaging through the statum to ensure that they are sterilized. If the indicator suggests that they're sterile, you can then proceed to put them in the storage area in the blue zone, which is the clean side of the sterilization room. When instruments need to be retrieved either in the morning or throughout the day for patients, they can be easily found in this blue storage area. To complete your day, you can grab a cavi wipe and disinfect all of the surfaces that were touched throughout the shift. This can assure that you'll have a clean sterilization room at the start of the shift tomorrow. And this completes the sterilization process.